If you blame schools for your child's lack of education, here's 5 reasons why your child will end up working for my children or be a slave to the system, and it is solely your fault. Number one, you decided that outsourcing parenting was the way to go. School is required to teach a curriculum and not to parent your children through temper tantrum, create discipline, structure in the home, or to teach them moral character at its core root. That is your responsibility as a parent. And if you're waiting for a teacher to do that, your child is already way far behind. Number two is that you killed curiosity at home. You answer their questions with, I don't know, or not right now, instead of stopping what you're doing and actually answering the question for them. You have not established yourself as the go-to figurehead of information. You have outsourced that also. Learning does not stop at 3 p.m. in my household. Also, my kids see me as the end all be all outside of their father and God of who they believe. They will believe me and their father over anybody else that steps to them. Number three, as a parent, you've normalized excuses and praised mediocrity. Every time your child comes to you and says the teacher doesn't like me, you just agree with them. You taught them how to blame somebody instead of adapting to different personalities. This is the world that we live in. Not everybody is going to agree with you, and not everybody is going to like you, including adults. Not only have you taught them how to distance themselves from adults, but you also have taught them not how to engage with adults. I teach my children that you can definitely, when it comes to your own personal space, your personal being, and how you feel, you most certainly can politely correct an adult, but you must never disrespect somebody. And if an adult says something you don't disagree with, what do? You come back to me and we discuss it, and then we take it to the teachers. And then if we find that the teacher is correct based off of what I review, then the child will get the correction. I don't just blindly agree with my children. Number four, you confuse grades with actually having an education. A's and B's don't build a business. A's and B's don't solve problems. A's and B's don't mean critical thinking. A's and B's don't develop a skill set. In my last video, I talked to you guys about Angela Lee Duckworth, where she describes grit being the sole determining factor as to what children will succeed in life. It didn't matter what socioeconomical status you came from. It didn't matter what political affiliation you were part of. It did not matter what Ivy League school you went to. The only thing that mattered is how determined the child was to excel and reach their goals. And that determination is built through moral character. And last but not least, the most important thing, you are 100% present in the body, but you are 100% absent in investment. And I'm not discussing money. I'm talking about time, attention, conversation, critical thinking, correction, development, locking into their future, knowing what their strong suits are, knowing what their weaknesses are and developing those, letting them know that because they're weak in something doesn't mean that they have to actually be weak in other things. That might not be something that they're good at. We do not do praise accolades here. If you are a terrible singer, you are a terrible singer. You will not get a prize for that. If you are horrible in basketball, you will not get a prize for that. If you are horrible in science, that is not your strong suit. We are going to go a different route. Parents fail their kids when they give them false hope and they don't understand and cultivate what they are essentially good at, innately good at. While there are some people that are exceptions to the rule, take for instance Serena and Venus Williams. Their father didn't know anything about tennis. He taught himself the curriculum and the game of tennis, and he saw something in his daughters. So he developed a skill set to be their coach. No education at all. And now they are world champions. You have to have that determination and grit when we're raising these kids. The school system, the government, this place was never designed to raise your children for you. It is your job. And if you don't like the thought of your child being a worker bee for somebody else, like my children, then I suggest you change the way that you're parenting. Especially with the wake of AI, you better get ahead and build a legacy for them to enter into, or else they will be left behind. The United States population, a majority of them read only on a 2nd grade level. There are children in high school right now that barely read at a 7th grade level. And if that is one of your children, you should be ashamed of yourself, because children have the ability to understand everything. The first 5 years of their life are the most crucial points. So if your child is under 5, I suggest you start now. And if your child is over 5 and before they reach out of high school, if you see something that is failing, you better fix it fast.
audience is for this particular message. Because when you start a conversation out by saying, listen, I'm a better parent than you are, and because of that, your kids are going to work for my kids. Anybody who really does need help and needs some advice on how to be better parents, I don't know that they're going to hear that and they're going to think, wow, I should be different. I should change myself. As a matter of fact, I think when they hear that, all they're going to hear is middle classness, privilege, and a fatal inability to understand that parents come from many different places and they come to being the way that they are through many honest processes of becoming who they are. So, I would think that if the real goal was to get those parents to do better and be better, we would think about it in the way that educators think about it. We would say this group of parents need to get from A to B. How do we get them there? What is going to be our andragogy? What is going to be our curriculum? What is going to be our message? How are we going to work with them where they're at and pull them to where they can be? That's the way educators would look at this, I would hope. And I think that's a good way to talk to parents in public who you believe actually really need help in becoming better. Telling them that your kids are going to be the bosses of their kids, I don't know that that's going to help anybody else. I do want to push back on a couple other things too. Just because you have kids that grow up in households with two college educated parents who have like military grade parenting styles and stay on top of everything, like tiger parents on top of their kids on everything, doesn't mean that those kids are going to be inoculated against failure. And it doesn't mean that they are automatically going to succeed just because they had that. I'm not saying it's going to hurt for anybody to do that parenting style. I'm just going to say, let's be a little bit humble. Let's never be so kind of sure of the fact that our kids aren't still going to fail just because we have privilege and we're raising them in that style. I'm not doing that, but in the style that you say that you're raising your kids. And also, just because kids grow up in households where parents aren't doing all that stuff that you say they have to be doing, doesn't mean that those kids are going to be failures either. As a matter of fact, the majority of very successful people that I know didn't grow up in Cosby households. They weren't the Cosbys. They grew up in households that could better be described as the anti-Cosbys in a lot of ways, and they still made it, right? I could point you to one of my best friends who has a PhD and multiple degrees. And he did not grow up with anything that is close to what you are saying right now, but he is successful and he's not alone. There's a lot of people just like him. So I would push back on that, and I would ask us to be a little bit humble about, how great we think our own parenting styles are. So I also want to push back on the Angela Duckworth thing, because you said that, I think you said that Angela Duckworth found in her research that grit was the number one determinant of whether or not kids were going to be successful. And I will say, from the beginning, I will just say, I think that is a violent oversimplification of what her work actually said. And I will also say that her work isn't the Bible. It's not godlike. It is not the last word on anything. As a matter of fact, it's like 2 words back from where we are now. So if I look at the Raj Chetty and the Sean Reardon research with their massive data sets that they looked at, they tracked kind of success and opportunity and where people come from, all that stuff. And I believe that their number one finding was that your mother's zip code is like the biggest determinant almost in everything. Get your mind around that. Your mother's zip code and who your mother associates with it goes a long way. So where you live, and people who like parent the way I do and the way that you do and have privilege don't live in the zip codes oftentimes where the opportunity for parents and kids are so low that they need kind of like a verbal lashing to do better when the opportunity levels like around them aren't great. I also will just say, listen, in support of what your message, no, not all parents are doing what they should be doing. Yes, parents do counterproductive things. Absolutely, parents don't show up sometimes when they should be showing up, oftentimes, as a matter of fact. Yes, there are teachers who sit in classrooms waiting for people to come to parent-teacher night and nobody comes, right? Yes, you have entire schools like that, as a matter of fact, where the only time that people show up is when they're mad and they're angry and they want to complain about something. Oftentimes in those schools, the only time that they get a call home is when their kids did something bad or misbehaved in some ways. So it cuts 2 directions. But yes, I will say that there are parents that are like that, and will do that. I just will say that, I believe in education. So if you are going to think scientifically about how you get people like that to become their better selves, how they are going to become more educated about this parenting, I would figure out a different tactic for doing it, because insulting them and punching down, that's not the thing.
Can we literally have a decent conversation without trying to make it revolve around Black people are the issue, Black parenting is the problem, Black people did not train their children very well. Can we have a conversation without that? Sorry, I'm not disputing the fact that some of the points she's saying are valid, right? But I have a lot of things to say at the end of this video, because when you check to the other clips I'm going to be rolling out, you will see literally why I said they should stop revolving everything around Black people. Why can't these Mexican, Asian, Hispanic, Latinos, Cubans, why can't they just have conversations without trying to rub in the Black community, the Black American community? Why? I don't know, but I just want you guys to watch the other clip I have first before I have everything to say, especially as a mother, and secondly, as someone that has taught. I was once a teacher, okay? And thirdly, as someone that also have the experience of hospitality, okay, when it comes to adults and when it comes to kids. So I have just a lot to say. But anyways, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sonia. Subscribe, like, comment, and share. Credits belong to the original creators of every single clips and stitches we have in our today's episode. I want to say a very big thank you to every single one of you liking, commenting, sharing, dropping super thanks, and also joining my membership. I do not take you guys for granted. You guys are absolutely the best. And yes, with that being said, let's dive right into this video properly, and I'll be back with commentaries. Let's go watch, guys.
Conversations about parenting online can get very frustrating because people will misuse psychology terms and they love to blame gentle parenting for everything that's wrong with children today.
And he chose not to do the task because he said it was too hard. Willful incompetence.
Okay, so your 5-year-old said that something was too hard. That is not willful incompetence. Learning to struggle and to persist through frustration is actually a developmental skill.
I'm a firm believer that gentle parenting breeds willful ignorance and willful incompetence.
Here's where things get confused. Permissive parenting and gentle parenting aren't the same thing. Gentle parenting still requires consequences, boundaries, and accountability. The difference is those are handled with emotional regulation instead of fear and shame.
And that's what breeds willful ignorance and willful incompetence. And that's what causes teachers to have to actually deal with these issues.
And here's where I really take issue as an educator, because the issues that we face in our classrooms are way bigger than parenting trends online. We're talking about overcrowded classrooms, underfunded schools, lack of access to mental health supports, and narrowing all of that down to gentle parenting oversimplifies the very real systemic issues that educators are dealing with every single day. Here's the gag that nobody wants to talk about. You can be both a gentle parent and an authoritative parent. And folks who are practicing true gentle parenting are likely doing both, because authoritative parenting isn't about fear or blind obedience. It's about accountability, communication, emotional support, and high expectations. So, no, the issue isn't gentle parenting. The issue is permissive parenting being mislabeled as gentle parenting by folks who don't know what they're talking about. Okay? Bye.
I want to talk on this comment right here. The fact that parents don't understand the school to prison pipeline is absolutely insane. And the fact that 1 in 3 Black boys in America will actually see the inside of a jail cell is very alarming to me. And the fact that parents actually know this and still do not keep their foot on their sons' necks, okay, when it comes to education, when it comes to staying out of trouble, it is alarming to me. As somebody who is a person of color, I am Black and Mexican. My husband is Black. My children are Black and Mexican. My son, he does not stand a chance. And while children will be children, they will grow up and do what they do, just like I grew up and I did what I did. The lack of accountability will never be there, because morally, I will ingrain in his mind exactly the expectation that me and his father actually have for him, that he will always understand logically right from wrong. And if he does something, God forbid, God willing, that does not happen. But if he does something, he's already going to know what you do what these people do to you is not going to be worse than what I'm going to do. We don't have a fear of police over here. We have a fear of mother, okay? And a fear of the Lord. And when it comes to crime, we have authoritarian style of parenting. It is not cute to misbehave. There is a book by Michelle Alexander called A New Jim Crow, and it definitely speaks about the fact that there is a mass incarceration of Black men, people of color just in general in this society. The fact that an attorney on this most recent case about this gentleman could literally say in court on record that they do not want to give this Black boy the death penalty because he would be a good worker should literally ring alarm bells in Black mothers' households to let you know exactly what this system thinks of your children. Either they're going to go to prison and be slave labor, or they're going to be in the grave, or you can train them to teach them education and lead them on the path that they're supposed to be on. You got 3 options. That's it. So coming from a juvenile correctional officer, my husband was also a correctional officer in many prisons here in Texas. He also too saw that. That's why I make these videos. Sometimes they come off a bit crass, and I don't mean to be that way, but something needs to happen because our children will still continue to become cogs in the system. And me, I am a believer of Jesus Christ. And I know that the Lord, the book, the Bible, it says that children are a heritage of the Lord. And to me, if you are a parent, that a heritage means like that is the most prized possession, the most prized like person, the most prized individual that the Lord loves is a child. He loves them because that's why they want you to have a childlike faith. And I think I'm preaching right now. Wants you to have childlike faith. And that's why we have to protect the children. So I make these videos to get into the minds of parents to be able to understand that these are God's children. If you are not stewarding them correctly, you cannot say that you are a believer of God. You're not, or a believer of Jesus. But even if you're not a believer, this person is solely relying on you to create avenues for them to be successful. Why would you sleep on that? Why would you not give it your all if it's your last thing that you could give them? Like, I don't understand it. I never will. Never will. Anyways, okay, God bless you. Love you. Bye.
Conversations about parenting online can get very frustrating.
That creator says she is an educator and that she knows the true definitions of parenting styles. And while that is the case, I guess, according to her, I don't have her credentials. I don't know that lady from Adam. What I will tell you is the fact that she rage baited and clipped out parts of the video just to enrage her comment section showcases the fact that when you get on this social media app, you actually have to seek the knowledge and seek exactly what was said in its totality. My belief system on what I think certain parenting styles cause is my personal belief system. It doesn't have to be the core definition of what everybody else believes. And I used an example of my son having willful incompetence because he's 5 years old and he was told to put the toilet paper in the cabinet. That is a task that a 5-year-old can do. And if a 5-year-old cannot do that task, then that is a developmental delay. If they don't want to do it and they can, that is the true definition of willful incompetence. I'm not here to debate her because I don't have to debate anybody, but what I'm here to tell you as an individual watching videos, you need to make sure that you follow the actual context of the entire video before you make your assumption based off of somebody else's view, because those people can just be leading you astray.
The fact that every single thing you people want to say, you have to involve Black people, you have to involve Black children, you have to involve making it look like Black folks literally do not know how to train their children is where I literally have problem with. And you know the annoying part is whenever you're not trying to make them see reasons why they should not even involve Black people, they don't make it look like, oh, you really did not understand what they are saying. You are trying to set a wrong narrative. They're not making it look like they are the only one that understood what they are saying. But forgetting that whenever you put out an information out here, a lot of people will first of all listen to those information, digest those information, understand the particular area or the part you are coming from with those information, and then they'll be able to reset and then bring out their opinion. Just like you guys have literally seen in this video, and the Black woman that literally talked about what she literally said as a Mexican woman, and how she was also able to try to make it look like every single thing is not really going to her own direction or her own narrative. See, children will be children, teenagers will be teenagers. There are some teenagers, there are some children rather, or teenagers, whatsoever you put them, like you as their mother will try every single thing possible for you to be able to put them in line, for you to be able to direct their path, for you to be able to stand by them, for you to be able to do whatsoever in your capacity to do, that at the end of the day, if those children want to disgrace you, if those children want to embarrass you, if those children want to make the public see you as a bad woman, as a bad mother, as a bad parent, they will definitely do that. There are children in the society that are millionaires, trillionaires, without having parents to look after them. There are people that never had the opportunity of good parenting, but they still became good. There are people that never had the opportunity of having anybody to advise them, but they were still good. There were people in the society that never had any direction at first. It looked like everything is blur. The teacher said they are dumb. The teacher said the children cannot learn. The teacher said the children cannot comprehend. Still, these children are good. I'm going to be telling you from my own aspect as someone that has once taught in a school. So I was working and I was schooling at the same time. So I decided to go and do teaching job because I wanted to have an experience. And I came into this particular school. I have this set of family that, I'm sorry to use the word dumb. All the children never understand anything any of us are teaching. I have one in my class that as then I was teaching primary four. The boy never understood everything. Another person had another person in her own class as well. The family was, I don't know how to like put it up together. But whenever you see the children of these, whenever you see the parents of these children, they are very brilliant. Like when I mean they are very brilliant, they are doing well, they are trying their possible best, give their kids good food, do this, do that. So a lot of time the mother will come complain to me and said she really do not know where this issue is coming from because she's trying every other aspect as a mother to try to make sure that her children literally understand things in class, grow up well in a good enabling environment, east, west, north, and south, stuff like that. So I left the school and I left because, like I said, I just went there for experience. And then I asked one of the teachers that was still teaching in the school as at the time I left because she was still there. And she was like, I was like, how were those children? Because I was genuinely concerned about those kids. And she was like, she didn't even know what happened. Like all of a sudden, they started they started reading, they became brilliant, they became top, like they started doing what, when I mean they, every single one of her children, she had 4 children in this school for that matter. So it is not the amount of energy parents put in a child, as far as I'm concerned, that makes that child a better person than the other kids, or that make that child be a ruler over another one. There are people that are well educated in the society that cannot even boast of a car. They cannot even boast of a house. They cannot, what am I even saying, cars and house? They cannot even boast of 1 square, 2 square meal. And they are well behaved, they are well educated, they have all the parenting love, they have everything you think that will make them stand out as a child. But growing up, they never had it. And there are people that you think they are the dumbest, they are the ones that don't understand, they're the ones that their parenting is bad, they're the ones that had the worst experience. And at the end of the day, they are going to explode. They are going to be brilliant. They are going to be millionaires. They are not even they are going to be. So I don't think you should attribute every single character of a child to a parent. Yes, I don't think so. So when I saw this video, I was trying to listen to understand until I get to the other part where she was replying to comments where she now had to start mentioning black people and now making it look like a lot of black people commit crimes, or make it look like a lot of black parents are not even training up their child the way it should go. Parenting don't go that way, okay? I don't know if I'm saying something, if I'm making sense or I'm not, but I feel like that is my own opinion on this video. And they should stop making everything about black people. Just have a conversation without mentioning black people. Say what you want to say opinionistically without being able to drag black people into it. It's quite crazy for me. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Credit to the original creators of every single clips and stitches we have in our today's episode. I want to say a very big thank you to every single one of you. Liking, commenting, sharing, dropping super thanks, and also joining my membership. I do not take you guys for granted. You guys are absolutely the best. And yes, with that being said, with no further ado, I do like I always say in my videos, I'm going to be saying bye and I'll see you guys in my next one. For now, bye guys. I love you guys. Mwah. Stay tuned.